what happens is that the three major parties actually are all in center block for their morning meetings, and generally those run from about 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock. So it was shortly after 10 o'clock. I had just finished asking Tom a question at the mics, and it was just I was back at my chair, and next thing we know, we heard some strange sounds coming from the hall. Couldn't figure out what it was. Almost like somebody moving something initially, but it was really unusual. And then we could hear some shots, and the first thing that's coming through our minds is, oh, is that a gun? We can't fathom that will actually happen in Parliament, in the House in Central Block. So anyhow, we realized that yes, it was, and by then a security guard had ran in and was holding the doors closed, and then it was quiet for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden the shooting started again. A lot of us dispersed, and within the room itself, and some of us took refuge at whatever we could find to hunker down behind, and it was over in not a long time, but it felt like an eternity. It was really a harrowing experience, and it's still not over. We're currently locked down. Shortly after, we were told that, okay, so now some of us were able to start vacating the room. As we did that, we were in groups, so I was in about a group of about 10 MPs, and we started vacating out. Once we got out of the Senate doors, we really didn't know. Nobody was giving us any direction, so we went behind the East Block and managed to get back onto the street and into our offices, which we have been now locked down ever since. So, yeah, there's a lot of security. There's been SWAT teams on roofs, and everything is pretty well a ghost town right now in the downtown core here. Well, at this time, it's our understanding that they're still trying to clear buildings, and they're going room to room. They're going business to business in the downtown core to make sure that things are safe, that there's nobody held up there. So, yeah, I'm at this point, we're just not sure when it's going to be clear. It's my understanding that there are still suspects that were on the loose, and we certainly hope that they will be apprehended soon. I understand that there was one of the security guards was actually shot in the leg. I'm not sure who the other victim was. I understand that there's three, and unfortunately, the soldier that was shot at point blank, I understand, is now deceased, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. We're struggling to understand how it could be that it got to where it is today and why that is. I think there'll have to be an investigation and evaluation of what failed, and how best maybe to ensure that the security guards are as ready for any situation, because they certainly don't carry guns. We're still struggling to understand how it is that someone with a gun could actually get into the Parliament buildings, as how the evacuation protocol actually took place. Those are all things, but we are certainly fortunate that we had all of that security system in place. We thank the Sergeant at Arms for his actions, and this affects everybody, and I know that people across Canada are glued to their TV, as are people internationally as well, so it's something that we all have to be concerned about, and hopefully we can enforce better policies to make sure that there's better security, but we also have to ensure that Canadians will still have access to the House of Commons, because we are a democratic country, and we want to make sure that our institutions are well protected. I think we have to put things into perspective. I'm not sure whether or not this person is a foreigner or whether or not he's a Canadian. I think that we have to be very careful on that note. Sometimes people will put everybody in the same basket, and I don't think that we need to do that at this point. I think we need to have the investigation go forward, and hopefully we'll get some answers. And as I said, I think the most important thing at this point is to make sure that any suspects that are still out there are apprehended. And my understanding was that there was still some shooting, so still some suspects at large. And hopefully, with all the security cameras, if any tips that may be out there, that they'll be able to apprehend them if they are not already apprehended by now. Thank you very much, Karina. It's important that the media is always carrying the stories that affect our local folks in Canada as a whole. So, and you do a great job at it. So, thanks again.